my friend Kathy told me all about what a doula does, and the more she talked about it, I thought that the support that you get from having a doula, it doesn't interfere with having Nick there to support me, but it's just extra support. And with Ella being our first baby and me not knowing very much about sort of labour and that kind of thing, I thought it'd be quite nice. And because I know Kathy, I asked her if she'd be my doula. So really finding out what Kathy telling me what she does in her role, I thought I'd quite like to have that. And because I knew Kathy, it was easy enough for me to ask her to be one. Exactly what we got, extra support, but not interfering with Nick and I sort of going through the motion. Sort of after having Ella, it's still been just about Nick, myself and Ella. But exactly what we got, really.
Yeah, I think it was a reassurance of having somebody who had been through countless births in the past, because Charlotte and I were pretty much clueless about what to expect and how the actual birth was going to go and how the 9 months of pregnancy were going to go. So it was a reassurance to know that when something happened, we weren't doing anything wrong and that it was going to be all right.
And the build up to labour as well. So
yeah.
What to expect and what to sort of not to worry about things, because so it was the facts, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Given information.
I didn't have a clue what a doula was to start with, so I let it be explained to me what the doula's role was going to be, and then when I felt it was something that was appropriate to Charlotte and I, then I was all for it, and I was absolutely clueless about birthing and what to expect. So my own view was that if it gave Charlotte the comfort and peace of mind that I couldn't give her, then that was absolutely ideal. I mean, I'd add to that there was never a case where it felt like there was any interference. It was purely factual. It was just a safety blanket, to be honest. That was all I saw it as. But you
could be mistaken for thinking that that the partner could be excluded before you actually know the role of sort of when you first hear about what a doula does, when it's sort of summarised, you could think that means that the husband would be excluded, but it totally wasn't. It actually made us much more of a team, didn't it?
I think that was a concern from people outside of Charlotte and I, my mum, for example, and I think Charlotte's mum was a bit that would it be
definitely
too many of us and would I be left out? But I can say that at no stage did I feel like there was anything more that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do. So.
And Kathy actually brought you into it, didn't she? Because you knew so much more about, because of our antenatal sessions with her, you knew so much more about what to expect and what would happen, that you were able to sort of take part much more, really, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Both of our mothers thought we were absolutely ridiculous. They couldn't even say the word doula. I think my mum still calls it a daft name, because they didn't know anything about it. Now, having gone through the process and as told it, as many times we tried to convince them about the role that our doula would be taking, they still were not interested, and they just thought we were crazy. Afterwards, they now both think a doula's fabulous, and they tell everybody all about HypnoBirthing and doulaing and tell people that it's the way to go. But beforehand, they were very dismissive, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, but it's because there was never such a thing in their day, and they always hark back to you never needed this when I was giving birth and all that carry on. But it wasn't a case of, it's just ignorance, I would have thought, not in a nasty way, but they were just ignorant of what the role was, and fair play, since they've seen what took place during the 9 months and then the birth, they've been nothing but complimentary about it since. And Charlotte's saying they'd be prepared to even recommend doulaing in the future. Does.
Excellent. It was like having your own sort of private midwife, wasn't it? Because all of the sessions were really nice and short and concise. Kathy did a little PowerPoint presentation and talked us through it in a really sort of at our house, so in a really comfortable environment. And then we could ask questions, sort of things that we didn't understand, we could ask about, and Kathy could go into in more detail. Really, really good, just informative, really.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's one-on-one, so you're not in a class with 15 or 20 people. It's all focused on yourselves, your questions, anything you don't understand. I'm not particularly patient classes and things like that, so it was quite nice to know that it was going to last as long as we wanted it to last, not as long as somebody said it was going to last, and we could get out of it what we wanted. There was no we didn't feel under pressure. It's just, let's say, it was in our time and when we wanted it. Oh yeah.
And we didn't really want to go to classes. Why didn't we want to go to classes?
Because we're busy. We're busy people.
It was nice that it was in our own home, and we could, ask exactly what we wanted to know, and the bits that we knew. And it
was really detailed. It wasn't. I mean, what Kathy told us was precise. It was exactly what actually ended up happening. So from our side of things, it was vital we did it, but it was, as I say, it was a comfort of doing it in our own homes and being able to ask the questions we wanted. I don't think we really embraced it at the start. I think we thought it was something that was a bit wacky, a bit hippie. We were.
Which is most people's opinion, most of our friends' opinions when we first tell them about it. Although now, both of my cousins, one who's just had a baby, one who's about to have a baby, have both sort of started HypnoBirthing because we recommended it to them. But I think the first thought is the same that we had, really, sort of from our group of friends. It's a bit wacky, really.
I think there was lots and lots that we heard about through the HypnoBirthing, what we could do and what we were going to do. And to be honest with you, on the day, most of it, for me, went out the window, apart from the one thing, which was the breathing techniques, which basically, I'm speaking for Charlotte, because I obviously wasn't having to breathe the baby out, but it definitely seemed to work, and for that, that was a benefit, wasn't it?
Well, another big part was the whole fact that HypnoBirthing makes you a lot more relaxed about going into labour, obviously through your late stage of pregnancy and then going into labour. So I think the fact that I was just so much more relaxed, I think, the breathing was important during labour, but I think the fact that Ella came along so quickly was linked to the fact that I was really chilled out, which again was because I was actually looking forward to giving birth, because the support from Kathy and the HypnoBirthing sort of together made me really relaxed. And actually, sounds a bit crazy, but I was just excited about having Ella, and I wasn't worried in any way about labour. That's what.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
but then actually during labour, it was also brilliant because we focused on the breathing, and it gave me something to focus on, and so I, took away from the pain, really, didn't it? Maybe when I do recommend HypnoBirthing to people now, which I do all of the time, I would say the only drawback with it is maybe because you are so relaxed and happy, that you sometimes don't, and I did read this in the book at the time, you don't realise that you are in labour. And when I was in labour, I did read in the book that some of the early signs, you don't notice them and you don't realise that is what's happening. So I would say that you have to be prepared for that. And that's really what happened with Ella coming early. I just didn't really know that I was in labour, or I thought it was the very early stages. I know I was probably much further on than we thought. Definitely.
100%.
To do it, to do them both, because I think they overlap quite a lot, so it would make sense to have the same person doing both of them, and they just work really nicely together, really, because you've got Kathy there as support, but you've also got her there helping keeping you relaxed, and just to have it works really well as a nice package, really.